Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about number 193, Stalker, which is a drama sci-fi film from 1979. This has an 8.2 on 100,368 votes. So our mystery line from Ben-Hur, now that you guys have had some time. As of what I saw today, I didn't see any comments of people guessing it correctly. So I will go ahead and tell you guys what movie that was from, as soon as I figure out where I put it, because I don't remember which one it was. Okay, so the mystery line from Ben-Hur was, "There are simply too many notes." And that is from Amadeus.
I was like, I knew that one right away.
Yeah. So, make sure you guess the line from Wages of Fear. We'll announce that one next week, so you guys have some time. So, I have purple, light blue, dark blue, and green.
Let's go with dark blue.
Dark blue. I could dance with you till the cows come home. On second thought, I'd rather dance with the cows till you come home. So that is our mystery line for this week. You got a couple of weeks to guess on that one. Let us know what you think it's from. So the spoiler-free synopsis for Stalker. In an unnamed country at an unspecific time, there is a fiercely protected post-apocalyptic wasteland known as the Zone. An illegal guide leads a writer and a scientist into the heart of the devastation in search of a mythical place known only as the Room. Anyone who enters the room will supposedly have any of his earthly desires immediately fulfilled.
I apologize in advance for the names. These are all Russian names.
Yes.
So, apologies in advance. Okay, so the director is Andrei Tarkovsky, and he's directed another one on our list. We'll get it in a while. It's Andrei Rublev at number 178. He's also directed Solaris and The Mirror. And this stars Alyssa Frindrich, Aleksandr Kajdanovsky, and Anatoliy Solonitsyn.
Yep. Alright, so the ratings. 30.7% of users rated this out of 10 on IMDb. There is no Metacritic rating. Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 100% on 37 critical reviews. So James Berardinelli. It is masterfully done, contains some haunting images, and has a difficult to pinpoint mesmerism in the way it progresses. Once it gets you, which for some may never happen, it will hold you like a fly trapped in amber.
I guess I'm part of the sum.
I can see what he's talking about, but I'm part of the sum.
I am definitely part of the sum.
So, David Jenkins. Stalker is a movie to be watched as many times as physically possible. It really is that astounding. Nope.
I can't agree. I can't. This is going to be my only watching. I will say that. It's my only viewing of this.
The consensus. Stalker is a complex, oblique parable that draws unforgettable images and philosophical musings from its sci-fi thriller setting.
Okay.
So, the money. The budget was 6 million Russian rupees. And its opening weekend here in America, it opened in 6 theaters. It made $11,537. In total for the U.S., it made $292,049. Worldwide total, it made $303,000 $806. And then it had a 2017 re-release. I don't quite know how many theaters that was in, but its opening weekend, then it made $20,540 with a grand total of $269,881. Its all-time domestic rank is 9,865. So the awards, it had 2 awards and 2 nominations. So the Cahiers du Cinema, it got 7th place for Best Film in the Top 10 Film Award. The Cannes Film Festival, prize of the Ecmeneral jury, some French word. Andrei Tarkovsky won that. And Fantasporto, it won the Audience Jury Award, and it was nominated for Best Film. So, initial thoughts.
Okay. So, I went in with an open mind. I'm like, okay, this is like our first Russian film. I'm interested to see how this goes. Open mind, right? It's tired times trying to have an open mind. That didn't happen very well. I got bored.
Yeah.
I did. Like, there's some really good lines in here. Like, I like the script. I just felt like the plot was taken away. The script took away from the plot quite a bit. Like, they would stop, and they just talk. And nothing would move forward. And I felt like it got stuck in ruts a lot of the time.
I will agree with you that the plot got stuck in the script, but I hated the script. Because that's the part that I was just like, nope, this is boring. Because, like, the rest of it, like, the cinematography I thought was great. The music I thought was great. The idea of it I thought was great. And then the built-up suspense, like, you don't know if something's going to happen. So they did a good job with the music and everything of building up that suspense. And then what killed it for me was them talking. Like, if this was a silent film, like, no talking silent film, I'd be perfectly fine with it if it was shorter.
Yeah, I do like the music, I'll give it that. It says it's sci-fi, and honestly, I don't see it very much.
I do see it just because of the concept and, like, what is happening, but it's the least sci-fi movie I've ever seen because they don't play on the sci-fi. They're like, oh, we're going to this alien created zone place to get your wish. And that's literally all the sci-fi that you get.
The idea was there, and it just wasn't well done. At all.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so maybe it's like a Chernobyl thing. I'm like, okay, I can see that. All right. I can work with that. And then it just dragged. Like I said, there's some good lines in here. For me, there's some good lines in here. I wrote a bunch down. But I did not like them just stopping and talking.
That's all I got for that.
Yeah, same.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Alright, that was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening and come back after you've watched it. So, you kind of start out in this tavern thingy. There's some guy walking around in there pacing. And it starts off in like a Wizard of Oz kind of sepia-toned color thing.
Yeah.
And the part of the coloring with this I liked a lot is that anytime they were not in the zone, it was that like brown sepia color. But then if they were in the zone, it was actually full color.
Yes.
So I thought that was kind of a cool little effect to give you a hint that they were in that specific place. But then we go to some house, and there's a train going by, and the whole house is shaking, because they live right next to the train station, so it's shaking. And man gets up and leaves the room, and then the woman gets up. And the man is Stalker. That's, I guess, his title, because we don't get his name. So he's just Stalker. And the woman gets up and she's mad at the man because he's gonna go do something that he can get arrested for, and she's saying, if you leave and never come back, I won't live. And he's like, well, I'm leaving anyways.
And, like, literally the first 10 minutes of the movie is silent.
Yeah.
There's no talking the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then, so the man leaves, and the woman's, like, yelling at him, and I'm just like, that's literally every woman getting mad at their husband or boyfriend or something. They're still yelling at him after they're gone and out the door.
Oh, yeah, cussed him out, even though they're already gone.
They can't hear him anymore.
Still cursing him out.
It's just funny. I was like, yep, that's real. And then the woman throws herself on the floor and is, like, convulsing or something, and I'm like, what the heck are you doing?
I felt she was being drama, but that's me.
Yeah.
I have, like, no tolerance for dramatic people anymore, so I was like, really? Get over yourself.
Then we hear this man who we find out he is the writer. He's talking to some woman about supernatural stuff and how he doesn't believe in aliens and this, that, and the other type thing. Which that's one thing that I didn't like about him specifically, is he contradicted himself the entire movie.
Oh,
he's sitting there saying, oh, I don't believe in this, that, and the other, but then he's going to this alien zone to get his wishes granted. And I'm just like, and that's like the entire thing, he's like sitting there contradicting himself.
So much abstracts. I'm like, why? Why?
And it's probably the fact that he, like, just kind of what little thing I saw, because I was trying to figure out what was happening with this movie. My guess is, since they were sitting there continually rewriting the script, that's why he was contradicting himself so much, is because he never actually had a full script to go on. And so he was just like, well, I'm going to say this, and oh, now this is in the script, even though that said something completely opposite earlier.
Nice.
So I think it's just the fact that they were contradicting themselves.
I think I just kind of zoned out at some point, so I didn't really catch that. Yeah.
I did it. It was annoying.
I think I was past the point of caring at that point, so.
This was like right at the beginning of the movie, he's already contradicting himself, so that's why I was like, it was annoying. I stopped listening to the dialogue and like paying attention to the dialogue about halfway through. I was like, I don't even care about the dialogue anymore. I'm just more interested in what's happening on the screen rather than reading about any of this. Because I really hated the script. I hated it so much. I was like, I just can't do it. Like, there's a few good lines, but I think I wrote down like 3.
Oh, I got way more than that.
I just stopped paying attention to the script after a while. I was like, nope, done. Can't do it anymore.
He's like, and I stopped paying attention to what was on the screen. So there we go. We can make one complete person who watched it.
So, then they meet up with this other guy, and his name is well, he's not his name, but, he is the professor. And, he's like a scientist guy.
Didn't it say, like, physicist or something?
Yeah, I think he said he prefers to refer to himself as a physicist. But they just called him professor throughout the whole movie, so.
Yeah. That's what I wrote down.
And so they're in that tavern that you see at the very beginning of the movie. And they get going on their mission. And they're like sneaking around in this My guess is, like, it's a military area trying to get into the zone, because you do see them go through this gate following a train to go into the zone and getting shot at and stuff, but they're, like, sneaking around in that area, and there's one point when they kind of try to turn this corner, but they see or hear a cop coming, or I guess a military person coming, and so they all, two of them, the professor and the writer, like, lay down in the car, and then the stalker jumps out of the car and lays down on the ground. I'm like, what are you doing? If this was for real, somebody would notice that car sitting there and come over and investigate, because that car's not supposed to be there.
Exactly.
And yet you're gonna lay on the ground, in the dirt, in the mud. That was one thing that annoyed me, is how many times they laid on the ground.
Oh, I know. I was like, why? What are you doing?
So we spend about 10-15 minutes of them trying to get into this zone. So that could have been shortened up a lot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's one point they're getting shot at, and so I'm going to call him Rock Throwing Guy, because that's, I'm going to guess, his job title. But they weren't actually being, like, they didn't use fake guns or anything. They had a guy throwing rocks, making it, and then there's somebody they put in their sound editing the gunshot sounds. So they were getting rocks thrown at them, like the actual actors were. And I was just like, you can tell that that's rocks. I could tell that that was rocks. I was like, you had one job, Rock Throwing Guy. Throw the rocks to where you can't see the rocks. Because there's one point when he, like, throws a ton of pebbles in the water. Like, they're supposed to be getting shot at, like, a lot, and you see all the droplets, and you could see the rocks falling in the water. I'm just like, oh my god. So, I thought that was a little bit bad in that point.
I didn't like the sound editing. I really didn't. It just felt off to me.
The sound editing I didn't think was bad, because there was points when, like, later on when they're in that tunnel thing and the writer has to go first, and, like, you obviously are not going to be able to hear it down that tunnel, but they were able to put in, like, oh, you can tell he stepped on some glass there. Oh, that's a bigger piece of glass. More glass, more glass. Like, you could hear each step that he took and what he was walking on or walking into, because there's one point when he, like, walks into a metal pole. So there's times when the sound editing was good, and then there was other times when I'm like, okay, your sound editing is not good at all. They just weren't consistent with it.
You like this way more than I did. Anyways. So they have to get on, like, this little trolley, right? So they can get into, like, the full zone part. And they have to have, what is it? They call it a jerry can or something?
Yeah, it's just
full of gas. Yeah. Ride the little trolley into the zone, and, like, you can see the change from, like, the zone and, like, the part that's not the zone, just, like, by the color changes. Like that Wizard of Oz effect, as they call it. Yeah.
This part kind of drove me crazy, because they literally took, like, 5-10 minutes. It seemed like, I don't know how long it was, but it was unnecessarily long to get, like, they just focused on them going into the zone. And I was just like, why do we have to sit here for 10 minutes watching them ride this stupid little train thing?
Okay, good. Thank God I was not the only one annoyed at that, because that irritated me. Like, you don't need that long of a thing.
I just feel like that's how this whole movie was. Like, they drug out so much stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just
so much.
Yeah.
So much.
It was just unnecessarily long.
Ugh.
Like, I feel like they could have cut it way down.
At least an hour.
Yeah. But so, they get into the zone, and Stalker is telling the writer and professor about this guy who they called Porcupine. And basically, what it is he had went into the zone to get his wish, and, like, he had this specific wish in mind, but the room that they were heading to didn't take that wish that he had in mind. Instead, it took, like, his deepest, darkest desire as his wish and made that come true. And the porcupine guy couldn't live with that being his, like, being his wish and, like, being how he was or whatever, like, being a bad person like that, so he killed himself. So, I think that gets the writer and professor kind of thinking. Because there's sometimes when they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, it's going to be great, blah, 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 blah. And so the stalker, like, goes and takes a walk and is, like, looking around and stuff, and we hear the professor and writer talking about the porcupine guy. And then from there, it's just kind of like this big, long walking. Like think Lord of the Rings books. All they're doing is walking.
Yeah, but the Lord of the Rings books actually, like, had, like, a purpose and were, like, going somewhere with it, and just...
Yeah, these guys were going somewhere, they just never actually did anything with what they were doing.
So much talking.
Yeah. And so they're going, and they do have these, little, like, washers or nuts or whatever, like a little metal piece, and they tie it to, this fabric or something, and they use it, and they throw it. And I was thinking, it's like the entire time, every time they threw it, because they never explained what it was for, but the entire time they were throwing it, I was like, are they trying to see if, like, a bomb is going to go off or something? Like, that's what I was thinking the entire time that they were walking. Like, anytime one of them went first somewhere in the grassy area, I was like, something's going to blow up. Like, it
I was
just
hoping
seems to
something
me
would
that
blow
something
up.
was going to blow up or something was going to happen, but nothing ever happened the entire movie.
I wanted something to blow up. That would have made it more entertaining.
I was expecting something to happen, but then I was really confused by a lot of it. And, so I was looking some stuff up, and it said that they were using those little washer things to, see if the gravity was working in areas. That's what they were using them for, not to see if something was going to blow up.
Was that ever explained in the movie?
No.
Then how would people know that?
I don't know.
That's what I'm like, if you're just a movie watcher, how are you going to know that they're checking for gravity? Just like, I'm thinking like as a simple moviegoer here.
I feel like simple moviegoers are not watching this movie.
Well, if they thought, hey, you know, it's a sci-fi movie. I like sci-fi movies. Let's go watch this. But then they get screwed over. But that's me.
Well, I mean, it is based off of a book, so maybe that part came from the book, and that's where they're getting that information from. Because it's on a Russian book, and it's a Russian movie, so maybe the moviegoers that were in Russia that saw it, that's where that came from. I don't know. I just know that that's what I saw.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, just as someone who's never read the book, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm advocating for the simple goer here.
They get to, like, this rivery area. I know I'm skipping a lot, but it was a lot of
go
dialogue
for it.
that I stopped paying attention to the dialogue.
Go for it. Trust me.
But
You're
so they
not
get to, like,
missing
this river area, and they take a nap.
Yeah.
And they all, like, lay on the ground. And I was really irritated at the writer, because, like, he lays over by the water. Like, if you toss and turn, your butt's gonna end up in that water.
And you're going to drown. You could drown in that much water. And, like, in the water, there was, like, all kinds of different things.
Yeah. They did, like a pan over the water, and you see all that stuff. And I was just like, what? It was like 5 minutes, too. I mean, I don't know if it was, but I was just saying everything was 5 minutes.
It felt like it was a long time for it.
Yeah. And it showed, like, all kinds of weird stuff. I'm just like, okay. But then we see this dog thing. it's not a dog thing, but it is a dog.
It's a dog.
I was like, what's the point of the dog? Is the dog, like, supposed to be the spirit or, like, the embodiment or the, like, shape that the alien took, and the alien's, like, following them, seeing how they're progressing type thing? Because the dog's following them the entire time.
I'll give it this. It's a cute dog.
Yeah, it's a cute dog. I loved the dog.
I like dog. That's about it so far. It's like, I like the doggy. Like, and what was it? One of them laying next to the river. One was laying, like, on some moss or something. And, like, was it the professor? He's the only one, like, doing the logical thing and leaning against, like, a wall.
Yeah. The professor's the one leaning up against the wall. But then they like, go on, they wake up, and they kind of go on. And, the professor, they get to this, like, room that's flooding or something, and the professor is like, oh, I forgot my backpack that has my clothes and food in it. And I'm just like, you're as bad as these middle schoolers that I work with that leave their backpack sitting at lunch every day.
Or my kiddos who just leave stuff in my room all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you leave that behind?
So he goes back, even though the stalker told him not to, and get the backpack, and then they keep going and stuff, and then we see, like, this weird dirty water. It's like a swampy area. It's like weird dirty water. At first I thought it was just the way they had made it look, because they focused on it for a good 2 minutes at least, and I have no idea what the point of focusing on it was, because it had nothing to do with anything other than the fact, like, actual real trivia about this movie, like something I found out when I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on in the movie. So it's like this swampy type area, and it's got, like, yellow goopy stuff sitting on top of the water, and I thought, they did something to the picture, like they had just shot this little wasteland, like, flat wasteland, and then made it look ripply. But no, that was, like, a for real thing. It was some, like, actual swampy area, and I'll get into, like, what it actually was, like, in real life later, but we'll do that in the trivia. But they focused on that for absolutely no reason. So I was just like, oh, okay. And then they are, like, walking through this. They're in some building now, after they've gone through the flooded room or whatever they called it. And the guy, this I thought was funny. He's like, normally we have to swim in here, but it wasn't full of water that time, so they didn't have to swim. I thought that was kind of funny. Because what did they call that room? It was like it was an oxymoron, whatever they called it, because it's something that had to do with it being dry when it was, like, flooded with water all the time. But I don't remember what they called it.
I can't think of it either.
I literally wrote it down because I thought it was funny that they called it that. I was like, hey, look at them. They actually got something going for them, but I don't see it, so it doesn't matter. But, so then they get to this, like, tunnel thing, and this is a part, so I had just watched, so I watched this on Sunday, and I had just watched on Thursday It Chapter 2, and I actually watched both of them on Thursday, so in my mindset, I'm still stuck in the horror phase. And
nice.
There was a lot of moments in this that screamed horror to me. Like, they could have built it up to be that if they wanted to, but they didn't do anything with it. And this tunnel part was one of them, because he's, like, walking down the tunnel, and I'm like, okay, where is the alien gonna come from? Because I know the alien's coming somewhere. Like, I was just like, something's gonna jump out at this guy. Like, the fact that they had no music during this part, and this is that part I was talking about with the glass, like, you could hear every step he was taking, and, like, everything he was, like, you could tell what he was walking on. But I was just, like, waiting and waiting. I was like, okay, where's it? where is it? Is it coming? Something's got to be coming. But then nothing ever came, and I was like, I was disappointed in that. And then he gets to, like, this door at the end of a hall, and they're like, oh, should we go through? And some of the stalkers like, oh no, don't open it yet. But then he's like, oh, I'm gonna open it.
Pretty much. I just, like, you keep saying, like, this alien thing, and in my head, like, it never got to that, like, ever. I never thought that.
Well, because he did say at, like, the beginning when he was explaining the zone to them, this is when I was still paying attention to the script, he said something about it had been some force or something that he was talking about, like, something created this, some force, something. So I was just like, oh, aliens. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I never thought aliens. I always thought, like, a Chernobyl thing. Where it was, like,
See, I never got that until, like, later when that it was, like, a Chernobyl thing.
Yeah, I thought of Chernobyl, like, right away, and, like, you know, maybe, like, the people that were stuck there. And they got, like, mutated or something like that. Because it did mention about something, like, his daughter had some mutation or something like that. So I'm like, okay, so maybe there's, like, people still there. And, like, they got mutated and, like, they just, like, got really fucked up. That's what I thought. Never thought aliens.
Yeah, the only reason I thought aliens is, because he had said something about, like, it possibly being something like that. He said, like, they came down from above or something like that. The way he worded it made me think aliens. But, like, when they actually got to the zone, I thought more of, like, Chernobyl type thing, like a nuclear disaster type thing. But the thing is, like, this happened, like, this movie came out before Chernobyl even happened. Like, there was a little one, like a little nuclear disaster that happened somewhere in Russia that I guess he based part of this on.
Uh-huh.
But Chernobyl hadn't even happened yet, so. I was like, oh, Chernobyl hasn't happened, then how are they basing it on a nuclear disaster? So I was like, aliens. It's aliens. That's a simple solution. That's what it's gotta be. But, so they're walking through, they get to the door, and then they go through the door. And, I don't quite know exactly what happened after that, because I was writing something down, so I think I might have missed something. Because later, like, after I looked back up, they were talking about a meat grinder, and I didn't see any kind of meat grinder, so I was like,
It's like, I think that's what they're calling, like, part of that tunnel or something like that. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that I was, like, I had looked down, and then I looked back up, and I was reading, and, all of a sudden they're talking about a meat grinder, and I was like, I must have missed something.
You're not missing much, trust me. Yeah, not much missed there. Because, like, what was it? They get into, like, this weird room with, like, full of sand and shit.
Yeah. But it didn't even, like, when they were sitting on it, it didn't even look like sand. It looked like rock. Like they were laying on rock or something. So I didn't even know.
It looked like
what
sand
it actually was. Because when it was still and stuff, like when nobody was walking on it, it looked like sand. But when they were standing on it, I was like, okay, that doesn't look like sand because their feet didn't sink in at all. Like that looks like weird rock. But that was just what I thought. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But they keep going. Oh, the writer has a little fit about something.
Because he called it the meat mincer. He's like, oh, you don't like me, you know, the press is your favorite and all that shit. I'm like, how old are you? Really? I was like, it sounds like two little kids arguing. That's what it sounded like to me. I was like, no, not doing this. Not in a movie. I have to deal with this all week long.
But so then they finally get to, like, the area right outside the room, and they're sitting in this little tiny thing, and there's a phone. I'm like, well, where did the phone come from? If this zone has been abandoned and, like, nobody lives here, then why the hell is the phone there?
And the phone works.
Yeah, because they get a phone call, and they answer it, and they said something, and then they hang up, and then the professor makes a call on the phone,
and it works and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
See, that's why I thought, like, the weird, like, disaster area thing.
But then that's also kind of made me think, okay, yeah, more aliens, because the aliens would make sure that stuff works, like, kind of messing with your mind type thing,
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know, maybe I'm just, like, stuck in the horror movie mode when
Probably
I was watching this, because I had just got done watching 2 really good horror movies, so then I was like, oh, I want this to be kind of, like, I know it doesn't have, like, it never even stated or had any implications that this was a horror movie, but I was just like, oh, I just got done watching 2 horror movies, this is kind of building up like a horror movie, so I'm just like, aliens, yep, it's aliens.
You want it to be aliens so
I really
bad.
wanted it to be aliens, like, I thought that would have been so cool.
It probably would have made it better.
Like, even if we had just gotten a tiny little glimpse like you do in, God, what was that movie? I don't know. But even just getting, like, a tiny little glimpse of the alien, even once or twice, would have made this better.
I would like that. I'm like, okay, something's up.
Yeah, even, like, getting a glimpse of anything.
But no, there was nothing. Nothing. It's all, like, abstracts and philosophical shit.
But so they are about to, like, go into the room one at a time to do their wishing thing. And the writer's like, well, I don't want to go first. Because I think now they're having their second thoughts. Like, they've thought about the fact that, like, they've processed that porcupine guy story. And, so they're like, okay, well, what if what I think I want isn't what I actually want? Like, like, you think you know what you want, but you really don't exactly know. That's what I got.
That makes sense. It's like, that part also reminded me, okay, this is the Harry Potter geek in me coming out. So when I was thinking of this, it said, like, something about, like, your deepest desires. I'm like, okay, so it's like the Mirror of Erised?
Yeah.
That's what I thought of.
Like, it shows it to you. The mirror shows it to you, whereas this room is going to give it to you.
Yeah.
So, what we need to do is combine the Mirror of Erised with the room. So that way, we know what we're going to get before we go in the room. That way, if we don't like what we're going to get, you don't got to go in the room.
I like that. I like that
go.
idea, Cap.
Fixed it!
Good.
But so, they're in there talking and stuff, and this is a little bit before the phone call, or maybe like right after, but the dog is like over there whining, and you hear the dog, and one of them goes and looks at the dog, and there's like 2 dead bodies over there. And I'm guessing that is because when they were like outside going to get to the room in the zone, the stalker, he's like, oh yeah, this place kills people all the time. So I was thinking that that's probably his proof. Like, the only proof that they were able to put in that this place kills people is those 2, like, skeletons. And it took me a minute to figure out what it was. I was like, what?
Oh, the dog with the skeletons?
Yeah, he's like sitting in front of the skeletons. And then
it looked like they were a couple and they were holding each other.
Yeah, it's like they had come in there to go to the room, but then they decided, they didn't want to do it, and then maybe they got trapped or something. Or maybe that's as far as they got, and that they died from, like, starvation or something, and they're, like, holding each other as they died or something, I don't know.
It's possible.
But, the one thing that I thought, I was like, oh, something's about to happen, is while it's focusing on the 2 bodies, this door keeps opening and closing off to the left. Like, you can hear it, and you can see the light on the wall changing, and then it zooms out, and it's got the dog, and you can see the professor or the writer, one of the 2. And you can still see the door opening and closing, and then it just doesn't even do anything with that. Like, it just leaves it. I'm like, that's a perfect opportunity to have an alien pop out.
Or something.
Like, perfect! Right there! Great opportunity. and you do nothing with it. But so then they're like talking about who's gonna go first, and the writer's like, well, I don't want to go first, and then the professor's like pulls out this bomb.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what the hell? I'm like, okay, we're good
Pulls the
now.
bomb out of his freaking pocket, like,
I was like, all right, we're pulling out the crazy card. Let's do this.
Because apparently him and some of his other scientist coworkers were planning on doing this, but to blow the place up, not to make a wish, because they think this place is evil. And I'm just like, you're gonna blow up the aliens' room, they're gonna get mad. It's aliens, I'm telling you.
Aliens.
Freaking aliens.
Like, I see, like, the guy from, like, Ancient Aliens, like, with his crazy hair, he's like, aliens.
That's me with this movie. It's aliens. Like, that's literally the only thing that kept me interested in this movie, is I was sitting there waiting for the freaking aliens to pop out.
And I never did, so that's probably why I lost so much interest.
Yeah, you gotta watch. I'm not saying you gotta watch it again, but if you ever did, for some reason, have the desire to watch this again, just think aliens the entire time.
Can I drink while I'm doing it?
Definitely, that might make the aliens actually pop out.
Oh, alright.
But so they, the stalker tries to take the bomb, and it doesn't work. He doesn't get a hold of it. But they don't even use the bomb anyways. Like I said, nothing happens in this entire movie. Nothing.
Yeah, and like, they're sitting in like a puddles. And they're just sitting there, and it zooms out. And I'm like, okay, so this is the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, from like here on, you got so many false endings.
So many.
Like every 3, 4, 5 minutes or so, like every now and then you've got a false ending. Because then all of a sudden it goes back to the sepia tone, like the Wizard of Oz tone, and they're back out of the zone.
Yes.
And they're in the tavern, and the dog is there, and I'm like, why did you take the alien out of the zone? Yeah, I'm convinced that dog is an alien.
So the dog's an alien.
The dog that's my alien. That's my alien. That's the only alien I was like, yeah, how'd the dog get in the zone? Like, how'd the dog survive in the zone? Didn't see any other animals in the zone. Dog's an alien.
Dog is an alien.
Yep.
We've had it confirmed here, folks. Dog's an alien. Good lord.
Okay, so one thing that, like, really bothered me is, so they're in the tavern and talking and stuff, and the guy is, like, talking about his wife and his kid, and he's like, my kid's name is Monkey. I don't know if that's a bad translation, or if they really named this kid Monkey for this movie.
Or it's a nickname. That's all I got off it. I thought it was a nickname.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was, like, a real name. I thought it was what they were actually calling her. But I could be wrong. It could be a nickname. But I was just like, that's not what you should call your child. Like, that's not a name. That's like people... That's not a name. It doesn't work. That is an animal.
Or Apple.
Yeah, Apple. No. You can't... No. Just the kids' names these days, and I guess in 1979 in movies, just no.
Oh, I know. The names are still awful.
Redo names. Just get a normal name. A regular name. But so they're talking, and the stalker's like, oh, do you want this dog? I'm like, what are you going to do? Why are you going to give the dog away? Just take the dog with you. And then the guy, the professor, and the writer are like, no, I don't want the dog. He's like, I have too many dogs, the writer says.
But
well, you can never have too many dogs.
He said he's like, I have 5 dogs or something.
Yeah, something like that. I was like, perfect, you can get another one.
And it's like, one of them doesn't have a friend.
Yeah. They all need friends.
It's like 2 pairs, and then you have 1 oddball. That one needs a friend. Make it an even 6.
So, then we see the little girl waiting outside, and then the stalker, he goes and picks her up and puts her on his shoulders, and they're like walking along And I thought it was a beach, but it's really just like this cliffy area, or like, not really cliffy, but like this area where there's some water. And it's just like dirt and grass and then water. And they're just like walking along. And the dog's just like having fun walking. They're like, oh, we're gonna go. Let's go. And he's like super excited to go wherever the heck they're going.
Now, was this part in color for you?
I don't remember.
Them walking?
I think it was.
It was in color for me. And I was like, okay, so they're in the zone?
Yeah, that's because the zone was always in color, and them not being in the zone wasn't in color. So I'm guessing, yeah, they were in the zone at that point because that part was in color.
Because he did say something about wanting to bring his wife and kid to the zone because it's so quiet.
Yeah. And I thought that was going to be the end of the movie. Nope.
Keep going.
That's not it either. And then we see some milk being poured, and the dog gets to drink the milk. And then the stalker lays on the floor. I said, this is another thing, like, just constantly laying on the dirt and the floor, and, like, right from the beginning of the movie, they're just on the floor and in the dirt. Like, okay.
And he's just bitching to his wife, saying, he's like, I can't go back there anymore. You know, no one wants to go anymore. Oh my god, my life's so sad.
Yeah. And I thought that was going to be the end of the movie, because them two were bitching about all kinds of stupid stuff.
She put him in bed and told him to shut it.
Yeah.
It's great. I was like, there's a good woman there.
And I thought, that was going to be the end, and that wasn't it. And then we got the kid is sitting there at the table reading something, and the train's coming, and she starts moving. It took me a minute to figure out that she was moving the glasses. I was like, okay, the glasses are moving because of the train, right? Like, because there was a train going by. So it's like, oh, it's moving because the train's going by, and they like live right next to the train station. But no, because then she starts moving all those like 3 or 4 glasses, and she starts moving all of them, and I was like, okay, that's weird.
And this is the part, like, this pissed me off. I was like, okay. Then this, I was like, what the actual fuck? I'm like, really? She's moving the shit with her brain? And she knocks it off, and Ode to Joy's playing in the background. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, I missed that. I wasn't listening. I think because at that point I had turned the football game on, and I was like, okay, this has got to be close to over. So I was listening to the football game at that point.
Yeah, it was playing Ode to Joy. I was like, and it was a German version too.
Oh, okay.
Not the English, but the German. How it's supposed to be sung.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much it there.
Yeah.
So, the music is by Edward Artemev, and he is known for 12 and Solaris from 1972 and The Heritage of Love from 2016. I liked the music in this. I think they did a good job of it. I liked how it kind of built into the scenes and made some of them, like some of the long ones, a little bit more interesting. Like the one where they're sitting on that train cart forever. It made it slightly more interesting.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
But, I mean, I liked the music in this. Not really anything I have to complain about for the music. This guy, the Edward Artemev, he is currently working on Sin, which has no release date as of yet, but it is completed. It is a completed work. He is done working on it. So my guess is sometime soon that'll be coming out. And then his very first thing that he worked on was Mekde Navestru from 1963. I have no idea what that is. Something in Russian. So there is a book that's in Russian that I could not find. So I don't have any comparison for that. But it's there. So trivia.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, go ahead.
What I was talking about earlier with that, like, goopy, swampy thing, that killed a lot of people from this production.
Yeah, from cancer.
Because it gave them cancer. And they didn't know until the last person died that that's what it was that gave them cancer. Like, they didn't know when they were filming it that this area was toxic.
Yeah. In Estonia.
Yeah. Because they would just, they were over there and, you know, I don't think any of them were actually walking around in that stuff, but they were near enough to it that they got lung cancer from it. Because you can see in, at least the version I watched, you could see some of the gas kind of coming up from it. And that's when I realized that was actually a real moving swamp thing and not just a shot that they made look like that. Because you could see some of the gas coming up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, that doesn't seem like... When I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, that definitely makes sense that's that they died from that. Because it looks toxic.
It's like... I'm like, it's completely toxic. No wonder they died.
Yeah.
It's like, goodness. A lot of people died just from, like, filming this movie.
Yeah.
And it's like... another trivia... excuse me. And that it is based off, like, we were talking about, like, Chernobyl. Well, there was one kind of like Chernobyl, but, like, not as big.
Yeah.
In the 1950s. And that's what they're basing the zone off of. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, like, 1957 or something.
Yep. 1957.
That's something else that you mentioned, that I remember too. A lot of people believe that with this movie, he predicted Chernobyl because it happened after, like, 5 or 6 years after this movie came out, and they're the crazy conspiracy theory people, you know. They always have to think something, but those are the people they're like thinking, oh, he predicted this because this is like this type of area. That the zone is basically what Chernobyl looked like for a long time, and actually still kind of looks like now.
It's just kind of happened 7 years after. So Chernobyl is 7 years after this movie.
Yeah, and people believe that with this movie, this was like predicting Chernobyl, and I was like, no, I don't think so.
It's just a really good coincidence.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
so, yeah,
a real good coincidence.
Still the aliens. Aliens.
I could see that. Oh, this is cool. 2 things. So, you know how this is called Stalker, right?
Yeah.
There's a video game called Stalker. But it's called Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl.
Yeah, I did see that when I was looking for the picture. The movie poster for this, I saw that. I was like, hey, that's a coincidence.
It's literally, you have to navigate it through the zone. This guy. And it was like, you have to navigate it to figure out what the hell's going on or something like that. He's got like amnesia or whatever. I've never played it.
Oh yeah, I've never played it. But I will agree this does remind me of like all the stuff I've seen. Like Chernobyl-wise, it does remind me of it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So.
That's what I thought, too. And I with all the color changes in the movie, how they did that, because, they put the film in, like, different temperatures of a processing vat to get the different colors to go out.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I'll give them that. That's cool. It's a cool fact to do it.
Yeah. I do have one kind of, actually, technically 2 more. Like I said, I was trying to figure out what was going on and found a lot of interesting facts. There are 17 cuts of this movie, like final cuts. They couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with it. So there's 17 of them. So that's fun. Because final cuts are like, it's ready to come out cuts. Like, why 17? Why? And then also, there was 3 different shoots of this. Because they had the original cinematographer guy that got fired because of all kinds of stuff that had happened. And the final straw was something happened with one of the cuts that he did, that it just got destroyed mostly. So that was like the final straw of stuff that had happened with him. So they fired him, and then they did the 3rd and final one. But things happen, like, they used shots from every single one of those filmings. Like, every single time they had filmed it, they used some of those shots from every single one of them. And I'm just like, how do you even know what's going on in your own movie?
A hot mess.
Yeah. But I think that's all I've got for trivia.
Yeah, same.
Where it has been on the list before. In 2010, it was not on the list. In 2012, it was number 213. In 2014, it was number 206. In 2016, number 213. In 2018, number 194. And as of today, when we are recording, it is number 178. So it's just kind of jumping around. Kind of going up a little bit, but then it drops back down, and it's just kind of staying right around the same little area there. So previously, the number 193 movie, the 2010 list, The Killing from 1956. The 2012 list, 8.5 from 1963. 2014, Persona from 1966. 2016, Stand By Me from 1986, which we have coming up very soon.
Yep, very soon.
2018 list, Network from 1976, which we have coming up very soon. And then, as of today when we are recording, Catch Me If You Can, from whenever that's from. I don't remember. But that one we've had previously.
2002.
Well. 2002. Catch Me If You Can from 2002. It's like I didn't write it down, but I remember what the movie was.
I was like, yeah, 2002.
So favorite line.
I wrote down a lot, but I'll only say a few of them.
Okay. I think I have, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4. Oh, nope, I have 5.
Oh.
So I'll go first, because I have 5.
Okay.
You have more than me. You like the script better.
I did.
I seldom think it's bad for me. That was kind of funny. So, I demand discipline. I was like, I need to use that line. You're lucky the zone warned you. I thought that was like playing into my alien theory.
I can see that.
That which becomes hard shall not triumph. Oh, where'd the other one go? When a man thinks of the past, he becomes kinder. That's all I got.
Okay. I'll just pick and choose from ones I wrote down. Alcoholism is the scourge of mankind.
Oh yeah, I was gonna write that one down, but it was going on, and I was like, well, I missed it.
I got it. We're good. This is the quietest place in the world.
Nope, A Quiet Place is quieter.
Oh, I know. That's a very interesting movie, but
that one is aliens,
that one is definitely aliens.
and you get to see them.
They're creepy, for sure.
They're really cool looking aliens.
Judging by his tone, he's going to start sermonizing again.
Oh, yeah.
And music, as if by some miracle, gets through to our heart.
Yeah.
I was like, aw, that hits right here to the heart. To me, too.
Yeah.
I'm only interested in one mankind, myself.
Yeah.
And this one. It's better to have a bitter happiness than a dull gray life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's some others, but those are the ones I like the most.
Still think my favorite one is You're Lucky. The Zone warned you. It's the aliens.
Just because of the aliens thing, let's go with
that's like my 100, that's like my, here it is, this is proof, it's the aliens.
It's like, we could go with that one, I'm fine with it.
You want to do that one?
Yeah.
Since I was sitting here talking about aliens the whole time.
The entire time.
I swear. If you ever do watch it again, drink and think of aliens, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I might get sauced, though.
That's okay. That would make the aliens come out. You'd probably you'd way see what I'm talking about then.
Okay, Kat.
I'm telling you, it's aliens.
Aliens!
I love aliens. I just think they're so interesting. I definitely believe in aliens, but that's just me. I don't care if you don't believe in them. I believe in them. I don't even care. So what's your rating?
So, I started out with it being like a 4 or 5. Because it wasn't going very well for me. And then the end just made me drop it down even more. I was just pissed at the end. So it's a 3. It's a 3 for me. Like I said earlier, too much stopping and talking.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing going on.
Yeah.
Like, you think something's gonna happen and it doesn't.
Yeah. Like nothing, we've said it quite a few times. Absolutely nothing happens in this movie. I am giving it a 5, because I agree, it was like super long. I hated that they just kept stopping and talking, but there was some really good shots in this. I will admit some of them were unnecessarily long, and I'm like, okay, why are we still on this exact same shot? Then there were some that were really good. So most of the cinematography I liked. I liked the concept, and I think I liked it more than you did because I was convinced it was about aliens.
That's probably what made you stay, like, a little focused.
Yeah. Because I was sitting there. And I liked... You may not have seen it, but me, in the alien mindset, I was like, oh, they're building up to it. Like, there was some suspense in it. Like, I felt like it built up suspense better than The Wages of Fear did. And that one was supposed to be suspenseful.
Supposed to be.
So, I felt like it built up that suspense better, because I was, like, sitting there expecting something to be popping out, like some alien, some booby trap to happen, like something to blow up. Like, the entire movie, I was expecting something to happen. I mean, no, it never did, but I was expecting it, and they did a good job of making me expect it.
I just felt like they were teasing you the entire time.
They were. They sold me on that alien theory with him saying something that was, like, got me thinking aliens, and then the entire time I'm like, okay, where are the aliens now?
You get no aliens.
Yeah, I got no aliens. I gotta watch an alien movie now. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with a 5 on this one. I liked it better than Wages of Fear, even though they were both about the same length, but I just felt like, for my own personal interest in this movie, I would much prefer to, like, have Stalker on. Like, if I had a choice between these two movies and they were the last movies on Earth, I'd much rather watch Stalker than Wages of Fear.
I'd probably have to agree with you on that.
Okay. Well, at least we're in that boat together.
I was like, because I hated Wages of Fear. So much.
Our next film is the Grand Budapest Hotel from 2014.
Yay!
And we are going back to an English movie, and also a more current movie, so hopefully, I mean, because the past 3 we've had have been kind of bad for us, so I'm hoping this one's in a better boat there.
It's so much better, Kat, trust me.
Well, I already did my research on it a little bit, like my notes and stuff.
And?
Without watching it. No, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm like, well, it seems like it's a lot more interesting, because I have an idea of what it's about, so.
It's way more interesting, trust me.
So, I have not seen this movie, because when it came out, I never watched the trailer, and that title to me screamed musical.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, I'm just like, that's a musical. I'm not gonna watch it. I have no idea why, but it's like, yep, that's a musical. But now that I actually know it's not a musical, and it's like it's a comedy crime drama, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah, that's a good description for it, like comedy crime drama. That's it for it. In a quirky way.
That's okay. It's got two of my favorite things. So, I mean, I can overlook the comedy if it's tasteful.
It is.
Okay. See, then I'll probably be okay with it. I'm not going to watch it tonight, but I will watch it very soon. Grand Budapest Hotel next week. That will be fun. Don't forget about our mystery line, which I done lost it. Hold on. I'm doing great today, just so you know. I'm so unorganized today. Okay, so yeah, our mystery line. I could dance with you till the cows come home. On second thought, I'd rather dance with the cows till you come home. So make sure you contact us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, email. Let us know what you think that line is from. Also, you still have one more week to tell us the Wages of Fear line. If you think you know what that one's from, go ahead and let us know. We've had a couple guesses, but none correct so far. So our event coming up in October is our Halloween event. It will be out on October 31st, obviously. So my two movies are Beetlejuice and Hereditary.
And I picked Young Frankenstein and A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes. And just so you guys know, she's trying to watch all 7 Nightmare on Elm Street movies. As well as watching all the movies that we have to watch.
I have it planned out. I just gotta watch one a week. And I'm doing so good so far. I have to watch number 2 this week.
I just think it's funny that you're gonna try and get all those in.
I'm going to, damn it.
I'm gonna be lucky if I can get all the movies in that we gotta watch. Let alone getting in sequels of stuff.
I'm getting in some sequels, everybody. Wish me luck.
So, that will be out on October 31st. Give you some ideas for some good movies to watch the night of Halloween, which that's what I do every Halloween. I watch horror movies. It's one of my favorite things to do. We are offering premium. If you would like to become a premium member, you will get uncut episodes, early release episodes, and special monthly episodes, all for $1 a month. For $5 a month, you will get all of that, and you will be able to join us for a movie of your choice every 50 movies. So, make sure you sign up for that if you're interested in premium at all. You just go to our website, catandjesstalkthebest.podbean.com, and it's all the way on the right. You just scroll down a little bit, and it's there. Our special monthly episode for September is Wrist Cutters. That will be out on September 30th. And it's actually really good that we're doing that one because it's Suicide Awareness Month. And that movie is about suicide. And that is a movie that Jess thought was going to be on the list, but wasn't on the list.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie, but I don't know.
Haven't had the chance to watch it yet, but I'll watch it. Probably Thursday. So, you can find us, like I said earlier, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can email us. Check out our website. If you're missing any of the episodes and you want to check them out, they're all on our website. Share the show with your friends. Give us some ratings and reviews. That helps us get some listeners and also helps us get some feedback on how we're doing. Our music is by Audio Binger, and you can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. Thank you all so much for listening. We're doing really great with getting more listeners lately. It's been kind of going up quite a bit, actually. So that's really appreciated. Thanks for sharing the show.
Yay!
Thanks for helping us out. So till next week with the Grand Budapest Hotel. Bye.
Bye!